This is the World of Sports Network presentation.
So now I want to talk about the Chicago Bears and the Tennessee Titans game, man. It's like the Bears are 5-4 and the Titans are 6-2. Very similar team, but like something's wrong with the Bears. I call this game the no ID, no entry. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, when you go to some places, like you can't buy without no ID, you can't get no alcohol. No ID, you can't do certain things. You can't get a hotel room. No ID, you can't rent a car. Just no ID, no entry. Right now, the Chicago Bears have no ID. Like, I can't identify who they are. I don't know what they are. They have no identification, man. So if you have no culture, no identification, I can't figure you out. Nobody can figure you out. You're just up and down like, hey, who are you, dog? That's why they ask you for an ID. You know the IDs, when people ask you, who are you, what you do? Boom, you show an ID, right? You're like, yeah, dog, this is me. You got everything you need, my identification. Now let me get my entry. Let me get my entry. But the Chicago Bears, I don't know who, what. They're 5-4, like that's just a fluke. I don't even believe it. You know what I'm saying? You know, on the ID, when you look at somebody, you like, no, let me see your ID because I don't believe your age. Get the heck out of here, bro. You know what I'm saying? When you're like, look, bro, hey, this is 21 and older club. And then you look at the kid, you look like, man, they're like, nah, I'm 25. You're like, nah, dog, you ain't fooling me. You are not fooling me. You look like you 17 or 18, man. The Chicago Bears, man, they might be 5-4, you know what I'm saying? But you like, nah, let me look at the ID. You like, let me look at the ID. Hey, you know what they said? I ain't got no ID. Oh, and you know what you said? No ID, no entry. That's who the Chicago Bears are. I can't figure them out. They're 5-4. I'm like, how the heck did they win 5 games? Where did this 5 games come from, dog? I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out. If you can't figure it out, that means you ain't got no entry. And the Chicago Bears are not going to the playoff because they got no ID. No ID, no entry. But you know who got an ID? You know who got an ID and who's going to enter? The Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans got an ID. And that's why they whooped them. Because their ID is Derrick Henry. They're going to run the ball and they're going to do play action. That's the identification they need. Simple. Simplicity. Simplicity. It's nothing difficult, man. It's nothing difficult. When they said, hey, man, when the Tennessee Titans, they go out the county with an alcohol beverage, with an adult beverage, and they're like, ask for the ID. Boom, let me see your ID and your age. You're like, oh, yeah. Boom, you're over age. The Tennessee Titans, they're so good. You know their culture so much. You know their identification. You don't even ask them for the ID, bro. You don't even ask them. You're like, oh, I know who you are, dog. I know you are. Come on, man. Get in the club, man. I've seen you before. You know what I'm saying? I know who you are. You know what I'm saying? Because we already know the identification, and they got entry, and that's why they're a playoff team. This has been the Monday Morning Football with the Guru, Episode 9, NFL Week 9. Y'all know the drill, man. Like this, love this, share this, and I am out.